Hey, my name is Randy Lewis. I come from the Colville Indian Reservation. I was born somewhere back before the middle of the last century, in the last millennium. That's old.
You're talking about my age.
Before the middle of the last century in the last millennium. That's your age? I love you. I was born on the Colville Indian Reservation in Nispelem, Washington, and I was raised on and off the reservation. My grandfolks fished on the Columbia River, on the salmon fishery at Celilo Falls, Oregon, before it was flooded, and so we lived down in Celilo Falls when I was a little kid. My first recollections were when I was, I must have been about 2 years old, and my mother was cutting wood for a living. Jobs were hard, but she would do anything. She would work anything. And I remember it was 50 below zero. I didn't know that it was 50 below zero then, but I was told it was 50 below zero. And our reservation had that, had really drastic weather like that. And growing up, we lived, like I said, down in Celilo Falls, Oregon. Then my grandfolks had a ranch on the Columbia River, but the Wells Dam Project, they came and they condemned and confiscated that from my grandfolks without due process. They just exercised their rights of eminent domain, and literally all we got out of it was the salvage. And it was a full-blown working ranch. It literally paid for itself, plus everybody who worked there. And so we moved back to the reservation, to Colville Reservation, where I grew up. And kind of like a lot of Indian families, we had this huge extended family of grandparents, great-grandparents. My Tupa, my great-grandfather, he died when he was 108. I thought he was older, but we figured he was about 108, somewhere between 108 and 111. And so you kind of grow up with these stories, the history from their point of view, pre-automobile, and you start developing a sense of what it was like when the non-Indian people started, I guess you could say, invading the area. And the survivors, it's interesting because most old-timers from that age, from that era, if you talk to them back during the 50s and 40s and 50s, the one thing that you're going to find almost consistently, they survived those things, but they didn't hate. Big difference from now. And they're the people who took the front, they were on the front lines, but yet they didn't hate. And I was always really impressed with that fact. I mean, they impressed it upon me not to be hating people. Not even use the term hate. I hate this, I hate you. It's just, that's too devouring. It'll consume you.